Hello and welcome to a brand new video. I am your host, AzuriteRabbit. Before things escalate too quickly, just like Broly's power level, I want to let you know that this video has no intention of degrading one Broly over the other, but instead it seeks to compare both and how they fit perfectly in their own roles. Hopefully most of you won't leave this video angry or triggered, because like some of you, I am a big Broly fan and I love both Brolys.
Oh, Daddy.
I have all the Brolys maxed out on Dragon Ball Legends, I have all the Broly DLCs on FighterZ and Xenoverse 2, and he is the only character that I have figurines and even a plushie of. But I am trying to be as unbiased as I possibly can. If you are also a Broly fan, feel free to subscribe and turn on the notifications. We would love to have more Broly enjoyers in my fun and chill community. Without further ado, let's go! Broly is a character that usually gets mixed up with Broly, and occasionally starts fights within the community as to who is the best Broly. Because of course, one Broly needs to be better than the other Broly, right? Well, for me, Broly is Broly, enough said. But jokes aside, why are there usually so many debates and hot takes surrounding both Brolys? The answer is simple. Despite them sharing the same name, some characteristics and backstories, they are ultimately, completely different characters. I will explain. DBZ Broly, also known as OG Broly, which is also known as Daddy Broly, for some cultured people out there.
What?
He is the original, legendary Super Saiyan. DBZ Broly debuted on the movie Dragon Ball Z, Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan, and is the main villain of that movie. In it, Broly is a sadistic, cocky and charismatic character, mocking his fellow Saiyans while beating their ass to oblivion. He is a powerhouse and a really fun villain overall. I mean, come on, the dude is smiling while destroying everything. How can you not love him? He's chaotic.
I am going to bathe.
During this movie, he still had a personality and an okay-ish backstory if you actually pay attention and don't follow the masses. Kakarot's crying was a trigger for his PTSD. Goku's presence made him remember everything that happened until he snapped. It became the epic OG Broly that we know and love. After this movie, we had Second Coming and Bio Broly, that made Broly become a giant brain-dead brute with a Kakarot boner.
Kakarot! Kakarot! Oh, hell no!
This version of Broly is used in a variety of games and other shows. Occasionally, it's paired up with his first movie personality. Take Xenoverse 2 for example. Now for DBS Broly, since his first counterpart had his personality shattered to pieces and shoved down the mud, which I made a video about it if you want to check it out, Toryiama had to reboot him, so that he could be used for the main plot of the series alongside our main heroes, and possibly become a friendly rival or an addition to our Saiyan duo. DBS Broly, also known as the Cinnamon Roll, the best boy and the most adorable Broly ever created, in the eyes of some fans.
You're so fucking precious when you smile.
Had his debut in the movie Dragon Ball Super Broly. No legendary Super Saiyan, I'm afraid. They even changed the name of that transformation to Full Power. In this movie there are two retellings, but I will discard minus and focus on your boy Broly, where we discover a bit about his past and how it made him the man we know today. Broly was sent off to an uninhabited planetoid called Vampa, being possibly mistreated by his father Paragus, meeting a friend called Ba, whom which Paragus didn't want that friendship to happen and decided that it was a good idea to shut Ba's ear off, which now Broly uses to remind him of that friendship. He also wears a shock collar, courtesy of Paragus, that he uses to keep Broly in check when he goes berserk. In this movie, unlike OG Broly, DBS Broly has no control over his power whatsoever, and his sadistic nature, despite showing up sometimes, is changed to a more rage-inducing personality and transformation. After this movie, he appeared on Dragon Ball Super Superhero alongside Goku, Vegeta, Sheila and Lemu on Beerus's planet. While he is there training, it shows that he still can't control his power, as well as copying Vegeta to try and meditate, showcasing more of his curiosity and adorable, calm nature. While I was explaining a bit of their stories, you probably caught up on some similarities between the two Brolys and how they end up being different as well. DBS Broly shares a lot of similarities with OG-based Broly, more mellow, silent and calm, but with occasional anger bursts. They are both somehow being controlled by their father Paragus, but one uses a shock collar treatment and the other uses energy or mind control to suppress Broly down. Another point that both Brolys have is their sheer power. They are prodigy warriors. Despite their overwhelming power, the fans tend to say that DBZ Broly is cooler and more menacing. His power level is overwhelming and his hunger for battle makes him a fearless and destructive opponent. He is a natural fighter, born to kill. Meanwhile, DBS Broly, despite having overwhelming power as well, does not have the fighting knowledge and experience compared to OG Broly. But DBS Broly is capable of increasing his power more easily with every match, and has an incredible quickness and capability to learn. Maybe with time, we'll see DBS Broly become as intimidating as OG Broly, but as an ally and not as a villain. When they were both young, they got rejected by King Vegeta and thrown away to their demise. Although DBZ Broly had the displeasure of being stabbed along the way. DBS Broly learned from Paragus that King Vegeta was a problem and the reason for their misery. This results on DBS Broly charging first to Vegeta. In contrast, DBZ Broly would remember the past by listening to Kakarot's crying, despite Paragus hating on King Vegeta more. You could say that Kakarot's crying was a gigantic plot tool to make Broly battle Goku to assert his revenge. Despite both Brolys having Paragus as a father, DBS Broly has a bigger empathy towards his dad, not wanting to confront him and doesn't accept people who talk badly about his father. Unlike DBZ Broly, that literally squeezed Paragus inside a space pod and threw his father into Comet Komori, with no hesitation and a smile on his face. Personality-wise, as you may know by now, DBS Broly is more curious, friendly and gentle, but when he transforms, he loses control completely and gets consumed by his power and gains a hunger for battle. Meanwhile, DBZ Broly starts mellow, but when he transforms, unlike DBS Broly, he gains full control of his immense power and restores his desire and love for destruction and ruination, just like a true demon. The other similarities come from their overall look, of course. Although DBZ Broly has more of a royalty design, befitting of a noble, meanwhile DBS Broly looks like it came out of the Tarzan movie. Strain in a desolate planet created this overall look. Both Brolys are big, bulky, and when they transform into their final form they have no pupils, rock a similar hair color, for the most part, have green ki and an overflowing power that increases exponentially with every fight. One more than the other, you could argue. With all this being said, it's easy to see that despite being so similar, there are quite a lot of differences as well, that highly change their role within the variety of stories of Dragon Ball, from canon to non-canon. DBZ Broly was created with the sole purpose to be a strong villain, to desire destruction and competition above all else. Even when he becomes a mentor in Xenoverse 2, he still keeps his sadistic traits and how much he desires to kill you and how much fun he will have doing so.
I'll enjoy playing with you until you break. But remember one thing. The stronger you become, the more fun I'll have destroying you.
For storytelling, it becomes quite difficult to do anything with this character, if you want to include him more in the stories. There are some Japanese videos online that are able to add Broly in the story alongside Vegeta and Goku. But over time it gets a bit too repetitive. Broly mocks Vegeta, Vegeta gets humiliated, Broly talks smack to Goku and he's annoyed by him, and Goku makes things worse on purpose. For a mini-series this trio is pretty funny, but for main and important plots it can be extremely complicated. Even if they go with the second coming route where he becomes a giant brute, you can't do much with that either because there is nothing to it. Yeah, things will go down and the fights will be epic for sure, but after a while, the formula probably will get tiring. At least from my point of view. If Toryiama made DBS Broly just like DBZ Broly, but less destructive, I guess there is a possibility for him to be a fun addition to the Saiyan duo. But I feel that maybe he would be a bit too similar to Vegeta. Specifically Vegeta before the Buu saga. But let me know how you feel about it. Pause the video and write that comment down. For DBS Broly, his whole personality was created to be malleable and adaptable to the main plot and characters, as well as having two friends to help him out, since he's more of a reactive character, just like Gohan for example. This helps create interactions that are believable and could be used for the stories and such. Since DBS Broly is still a Broly, they had to implement something related to OG Broly that isn't just looks and power too. So here comes Ikari Broly and, subsequently, Full Power Broly. He hungers for battles, destruction, and has a more sadistic nature. All these can be seen throughout the whole movie. You could also argue that DBS Full Power Broly has a mentality more akin to that of Second Coming Broly, where he is more of a brute than anything else, but still case in point, there has to be similar connection somehow to his original counterpart. In conclusion, both Brolys are great characters, not counting Second Coming and beyond in DBZ Broly's case. One of them was never made to be part of the main cast, instead was created with the sole purpose to be an excellent, fun, sadistic, and intimidating villain. Someone who is a menace wherever he goes, a true chaotic and lovable demon. Meanwhile, DBS Broly was created to be part of the main cast, to have a personality that would fit easily into the story, yet having a more berserk and destructive side to him as well, similar to OG Broly. Basically trying to make a character that has a bit of both worlds. Do you agree or disagree with my opinions? Let me know how you feel in the comments below. If you really like this video, I will leave on the top corner some suggestions for you to watch if you are interested. There are some Dragon Ball theories and some Broly videos. I really hope we don't get the Broly vs Broly divide in the comment section, since it will dismiss the whole point of this video, but what can you do? Well, you can share good vibes by joining our Discord where we talk about a variety of topics, or you can even be cooler by subscribing, or even furthermore, becoming a YouTube member like these amazing people on screen, by clicking the join button down below. I have some Broly emotes if that interests you, and would support me to do even more videos, Broly included. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all on my next video, short or stream, so stay tuned for that content, my friends.
I'm running really fast.